Quoting Malcolm X, education is the passport for the future, and tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it. I have before me today a learned person, a person who believes in education and understands the impact of education to the community at large. I'm referring to no one else but Dr. Dieu Polay, a professor of management at the Crandall University, Canada, Department of Graduate Studies. He has significant industry experiences, and his academic experiences span several years across board. Ladies and gentlemen, join me as I welcome Doctor to the stage. Welcome, Doctor.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome, Doctor. I enjoyed every bit of my conversation with you, and for those who do not know, Doctor is a true replica of one who impacts not just the society, but the foundation from the start. He's wonderfully married to a woman as well, who inculcates and integrates education and excellence to them. And guess what? She catches them young, while Doctor completes the job when they are in the university. So, Doctor, I have a quick question for you. Professor, you have had diverse experience across board. Can you give us a brief intro about your educational background?
Okay, yeah, that's a very long story. I live now in New Brunswick. I've been here for the past probably 12 years or so, but some time out as well. I came and I returned. But I was born in the Ivory Coast in West Africa, where I stayed until probably about 19 or so, when I went to the UK. So I've been living in the UK in London for the past 3 or 4 decades. So I see myself pretty much as from London. When people ask me, I'm from London. I come from South London, from Beckenham. But I've been living here. I came to Canada as a permanent immigrant, and that was to fulfill a long-term dream. Because when I was a kid, I always wanted to live in 3 countries. One of them was Norway, Finland, or Canada. As young as 10 years old, I thought about living in one of these 3 countries. And it happened that Canada became the chosen one. But yeah, in terms of education, I have a number of degrees. I have a degree in sociology, and a master's also in sociology, and in human resource management, and in applied linguistics in English language. And yeah, I also have a doctorate in education, leadership and management, and a doctorate, a PhD in sociology, all from the UK, Lincoln and the University of Surrey in England.
Awesome. Did I not tell you? He's well-grounded. I have a follow-up question for you, Doctor. Yeah. Based on my interaction with you, I understand that you have experience in the UK, in Asia countries, even in Canada and across board. Yeah. My question would be, how do you compare the standard of education across the globe?
Right. I think it's not easy to compare standards. Every country does their best within the means that they have. But I should say that my experience has been very, very fruitful wherever I have been. I've encountered different learners with different expectations, different aspirations as well, and also different resources to learn. So with the resources, the student can do a lot. So the student from Canada and the UK, certainly they have more resources, so they appear to do well. But I also like the learners from China, where I taught for 4 years, and the learners from India, who, with the limited resources they have, they strive to do their best in order to have greater attainment. So I think the education systems are very, very different, and we can't necessarily compare them. But if we have to do some things to look at how the students are motivated, and I think in all systems, students seem to be motivated, seem to understand that education has value.
That's true. Education has value. Yeah. When you were talking, Doctor, did I hear you say China and India?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe namaste will be the right word to use now, since you spoke about India.
Yeah.
Okay, so how do they greet in China?
In China, they will say "Xie
Wow.
yeah, but don't ask me about India because
No, I know something. I know Namaste.
yeah, we say "Ni hao" in China, for example. Yeah, that's the first greeting when you meet somebody. Ni hao means good morning or how are you. So lots of things behind the one word.
Didn't I tell you? He's traveled around the world. If I ask him now to speak about Ivory Coast, to speak about how they greet in UK, I'm not going to put him on the spot. I promise you he knows it all. But I'm going to ask you, what inspired your passion into academia in management?
Right. I came to management, if you want, a bit by accident, because my background is in sociology. So I trained to be a theorist, to teach a student theoretically. But when I finished my degree at the University of Greenwich in London, I didn't actually go to teach. Although I trained as a teacher, I went to work with the voluntary services to welcome refugees and immigrants from Bosnia, from Serbia, from Kosovo for many years in the 1990s. And from that point, with the experience I gained as a manager of those services, in the voluntary services and also in government, I thought, I had to go to fulfill my long-time ambition to be a teacher. Then, armed with those experiences, I went to be a lecturer in international management at Southbank University.
Wow, wow. So many successful history to tell us about. I want to ask you, what advice would you offer a student who would also want to grow to be someone like you?
Yeah. I think for me, the main idea is to be focused. If you are focused in what you want to do and you have plan, then all your resources, your strength will go towards fulfilling that plan. But oftentimes we have some students who are not sure about what they want to do. But deciding what you want to do at a certain stage allows you to build the momentum as you go along. But if you wait too long to decide what you want to do, then you lose out on building that momentum and building the experiences. So focus is important. And also, you need to be devoted to what you want to do. If you decide to study, you have to put everything in it. You go to the classroom, you have to listen, and every lecture that you attend has one small thing that you can learn. And our knowledge base and our skills base are founded on the little things that we learn at every opportunity that we have. So I think that's really important. And to value education as I conclude, I'll probably repeat that, as a liberator. If you are from a poor background or from a lower social ladder, you need to see education as a liberator of people.
I do have a follow-up question to that. After that, I'm going to take a little peek into your life outside of education.
Okay.
Okay. So you had mentioned, and based on my discussion with you, I can tell you for a fact that his experience in the educational sector is over 3 decades. Don't ask me how he did it, but he has been doing it successfully. So I also know that you balance this up and you volunteer in educational sector. Yep. Now, this is an advice for people like us and the younger generation trying or looking up to you. Yep. How can they balance, or how have you been able to balance so much rush educationally with the volunteering and other activities that you put into the society?
Yeah. But I think it's a matter of planning. Yeah, there's so much time we have on our hand, and we have to be able to manage that resource. The major resource we have in life is time. And if we can manage that resource carefully, it will be tremendous to see what you can do with it. So for me, in my life, I've planned those carefully. So my week, for example, is segmented into different things that I have to do. So for example, in London, on a Saturday, I'll go to some community centers and act as a role model for young people from deprived area, black and ethnic minority background, who have low aspiration. I'll go and tell them that, look, I am what I am because of focus, and this was paying off. So I have different days, I'll do different things. And also, I don't prioritize my professional life over my family life. So during the day, I will play with my kids, they'll do everything they need to do, and when they go to bed, then I can do other things. I've written several books and several journal articles, and all these have come from my work after my kids have gone to bed.
Awesome.
So you have to be able to plan the day in a way that you can use every bit of the time to enjoy yourself, work with your kids, and also develop yourself professionally.
Okay, I can attest to the fact that he is enjoying himself. For those who do not, and congratulations on your son's graduation. This is to tell you that it doesn't just impact the world and other people, he also lays the foundation in his home again. Congratulations on your son's graduation from the university.
Thank you.
So, I have been able to take a little peek into what you do outside of work. You said you have time for your family.
Yep.
So aside from you looking at the book, thinking about what to write or the next lecture, how do you spend your leisure time with your family?
Okay, that's an interesting question. In New Brunswick here, I have an allotment. I grow food for myself. So on Saturday or sometimes in the evening, particularly in the summer day like that, where the days are long, I go to my allotment and I have the tools, I work the land, I grow a lot of potatoes, tomatoes, and I grow a lot of food for myself. So that's really creative. When I go to my allotment, I don't think about books, I don't think about work, I don't think about anything, I think about the land. And this is creative for the mind, which is very important. I also like to travel. I take the kids and my wife, we travel around New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, the Atlantic provinces, discover different things, and we spend time as a family without thinking about work or school on those particular trips. And apart from that, we also volunteer in the community. I do some seminar for churches. I also volunteer in the churches in different capacity. And I do attend the church itself. Oh, so these are different activities that give a variety to one's life and make a life fulfilling.
Okay. Honestly, Doctor, I need to tell you that I'm learning so many things. Are you getting information from what Doctor is saying? I can tell you that you told me one major resource that we must guide perfectly is our time. Yeah. It's not just the money. You need the time to manage yourself and get things done. I like that part about you, Doctor. And also, I got to know that you do have a family and you spend time with the family. Yeah. Guess what I like about the agriculture you said? Potatoes. I like potatoes because we are in the Atlantic province, New Brunswick to be specific, and potato is one of our crop products that we cherish and is abundant all across the probe. But I have another question for you, Doctor, just because I like to probe and I see you as a mentor to so many. He is an inspiration and a mentor to so many. How do you handle stress management against your time?
Right. I mean, as I said, normally if you have planned, every situation can be managed, a stressful situation can be managed with planning. People become stressed because we leave things to the last minute or they are not planned. If they are not planned, then several priorities can come together and then that causes stress. But the planning itself removes that stress. Of course, occasionally you can have some situation where you are under pressure, but with planning you can manage things reasonably. And also, as I said, you have to work with people. Working with people is important. You can't do everything by yourself. And if you divide the task, probably I learned that from my sociological training. Sociological theory says that the division of labor with Emil Durkheim, for example, is key to productivity. One person can be burned out with so many tasks, but if the labor is divided, then we have a small share, each one of us, and the bits combined together create more productivity. So I do work with, at home, for example, I'm not afraid to say, I also clean the floors, I do everything with my wife. So we divide the labor in that sense, and it's not overburning a single individual. And it's the same for in the workplace. We have to delegate, we have to do other things together in order to maximize the use of our time and cause less stress on ourselves.
I can relate to what you're saying, Doctor. Okay, so while we were talking, through confession, I got to know that he did a course in project management and he has actually been a project manager at some point. So when you were talking about division of labor, breaking tasks, I could relate with that perfectly. But in a nutshell, what Doctor is trying to say that teamwork makes a miracle come to pass. So we need to work with people. We need people around us to make things work. I have a question for scholars like you. I know obviously that as a Black scholar, you have broken all barriers. So I want you to give a word of advice to a Black scholar looking at you today and admiring and aspiring to be like you in the future. What word can you give them against breaking all barriers?
Right. I think I'll come back to the point that I've just made about teamwork. I use my own example. When I became a scholar, an academic, I tried to work a lot of books and articles by myself. And by yourself, you can produce so much. And in order to make the grade, you need to have a body of publication that makes international standards. And to make international standards, you have to work with other people. So I found other Black scholars who were higher than me and some other white scholars who were higher than me. So that teamwork, again, allowed me to penetrate the world of the best, people who are better than me. So never be shy to approach the best and say, okay, can I do something with you? Yeah. Sometimes it's up to us to go and ask other people if they would be wanting to work with us. And if we have something as well, we can call other people who are lower ranked than us to try to feed in. So as we get help from bigger people, we also help smaller people. And those combination of help allow us to grow better. But one key thing I would probably say, if you are an academic, don't just bog yourself down in teaching only. You need to do a variety of things, and publication will be something that will take you up the grade.
Publication. You cannot overemphasize that. Thank you so much, Doctor. I have one question, and this is a question on behalf of parents or people like us that would also want our children to experience the world at large and understand educational standard across board. You have been in Crandall University for, if my memory serves me right, almost 5 years now.
Yes.
Would that be a fair statement, Doctor?
Yeah, that's correct.
And before then, you have experienced education in the UK, in Asian country, in China. You've gone across board. As a Canadian, who is not just limiting herself to Canada, but wants to experience and be able to stand out anywhere across the world, what advice would you give such people to plan ahead?
Yeah, I think for me, if you have a means, it's good to explore other places, because traveling to other places increases our understanding of culture and globalization. We know that the world is global now, and if you want to draw maximum opportunity from this world, you have to understand this global culture. So going to different places allows you to enrich the way you think, and also to accept the different people, to accept diversity. Once your mindset is set to accept diversity, then you are able to interact with many different people. Today, I mean, some people are a bit shy to talk to people they don't know, maybe South American, maybe European, maybe Asian. But for me, I go everywhere and I don't feel a foreigner. I've been telling you, I've been to Malaysia for 7 years in a row. When I go to Malaysia, it's like my hometown. So I don't feel foreigner anywhere, and I feel comfortable with anybody. So that allows me to expand my connections and to be able to engage with people. And that draws opportunity for yourself, but for your family, your friends, and other people.
Globalization, that is a very strong word. Thank you so much. I think we need to also expand our thinking and understand that the world itself is a global place. Yeah. Thank you so much, Doctor. You have said so many things. Can I also give a quote, just because I started with one?
Yeah.
Experience is the best teacher. Doctor has given us so many suggestions, has given us word of knowledge. word written in marble for us to learn from. I hope that this wonderful session has been able to encourage us, and as we learn from a mentor, a scholar, someone who believes in education and has impacted so many lives, I think I'm re-engineered and I'm ready to make an impact as well.
Right.
Thank you for your time, Doctor.
Yeah, thank you for having me, and thank you for your questions, and I hope that helps other people.
Thank you.